Howdy folks. In one of my last videos I talked about the tractor, my Coyote tractor. This video I'm going to focus more on the Snowblower. It's a MK Martin Meteor 60 inches wide obviously. And it's a forward facing pull behind snowblower. It's a little different setup, so I thought I'd go over what I like about it and what I don't like about it. So traditionally when people think of a snowblower and a tractor, they think of either a rear facing behind the tractor snowblower or something on the front forward facing, so you drive over the snow, blow it forward. This one's a little different. It's not new by any means. They've been out for a few years, but I really like it. The sales guy sold me on it. For my particular area, it works great. For the traditional blowers that are on the back facing backwards, if you've ever used one of those, you know how hard it can be on your back and your neck, constantly looking backwards, especially if you got a long driveway or a lot of area to clear. They can be pretty painful. And I think that's the thing I like the most about this one, is I get to drive over the snow first, and then it blows the snow behind me, and I don't have to drive into the snow that's being blowed. I don't get covered in snow. The other thing that I really like about this setup is that I can back right up to buildings and my garage doors and get really close. I don't have to shovel those out. Another thing is the overall build quality. I've had this for about 4 years now, I think, and no issues whatsoever. It's worked flawlessly. Broke a couple shear pins, but that's kind of normal. You get something stuck in there, usually twigs or something will break it. But other than that, it's built solid. Never had any issues, like I said. It's got a couple grease fittings on the chain here. It's kind of buried, can't really see it, but there's one there, one on the other end, and then one in the back. So they're pretty easily accessible, easy to get at. And then, of course, on the universals with the dry shaft, I do those once or twice a year because they're harder to get at. The 60-inch wide is perfect for my area too. For most homeowners, I think it would work great. It covers just about any path. Usually 2 or 3 passes down a normal driveway will do it. One of the other big advantages that sold me on this was having the front loader still available, which gave me the option of putting a snow pusher on it, or I can switch between that and the bucket if I got to pick up some snow and move it. So I really like that, having that available still. If you have a front mounted snowblower, it kind of takes that away, but you know, that may work for you. It just doesn't work for me. Everything's pretty accessible on it too. There's options you can get out there for electric drives to change the chute and that, but I pretty much just keep the chute set at that point. And then there's a crank handle to turn it. I had to put an extension on that to reach it from the tractor behind, but other than that, works good for me. So as with all equipment, there's always some downsides. This type of snowblower is always a little bit more expensive. At least I found it to be. It's just, I guess I'm assuming because of the engineering, there's a little more mechanically, it's a little more harder to design and build. The other thing, as I mentioned earlier, is the universal joints are hard to get at, where that one is. And so to grease those, it's a little tougher. I usually just do them once or twice a year. The other thing I had to modify was where you see those chains that hold the rear blade on. Those were actually solid brackets that came with it. I ended up taking those out just because I wanted the blade to hit the ground first. And the brackets were solid, and I just didn't find it was working very well. It was leaving some of the snow back, where now the blade actually hits the ground first and I'm able to pull the snow forward a lot easier. One of the things about this setup that concerned me before I bought it was the fact that you do have to drive over the snow first and pull it behind. We get a lot of snow here, so I was concerned that if we do get, you know, a good amount, that the tractor would not be able to get through the snow because it is a compact tractor. But I have had zero issues with that. In some areas I got a small hill in my driveway, and it struggles to get up the hill when I'm pulling the blower. Sometimes it takes a couple passes, but it does get through it. So I guess if you have the other setup where you're backing up or on the front of the tractor, it might be a little easier, I'm not sure. One of the other small disadvantages that I find is that when you are pulling the snow forward and you get up to a snowbank or to a building, you have to stop. Obviously, you have the length of the tractor, and then the snow tends to pile up behind the tractor. So what I end up doing is just lifting the blower, backing up, and then I use the pusher to push the snow that's been piled up behind the tractor. That's only once you get used to it, it's pretty quick. But I guess that's one of the disadvantages of this type of setup. Being able to drive over the snow and stay comfortable, always looking forward, is a huge advantage, especially, like I said, if you have a long driveway like we do, lots of areas to clear. Anything to make the snow removal a little less miserable is always nice. So if you have a traditional setup with a rear-facing snowblower or a front-mounted snowblower, I'd like to hear your opinion. Let me know what you think. This setup works good for us. Maybe it won't work for you. So I hope this was helpful. Just my opinion on it, what I think of it, how it works for us. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Please leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Appreciate you watching. Have yourself a great day.